Hello and welcome back again to Rage Gaming and more Monster Hunter Wilds news. Today we've got a bit of a double up for you because as of today we've had two main events take place in two completely different places. Firstly, at about 8 AM my time, an event happened at Gamescom Asia featuring Ryozo himself, and then much later on at a totally different event was New York's Comic-Con where we had a panel for the game. From these we got different new information, some more in-depth information on stuff we did know, basically just more news to discuss. So here's your recap of everything you might want to know from those two events. Let's begin with the first one then, the showcase at Gamescom Asia. Ryozo stepped out onto stage to talk about Wilds, which apparently he did the same thing about a full year ago now. They just have a lot more to show and talk about at this point, obviously. With that, they also played the trailer 4 that we've seen, but then got into a little fun mini game with the audience. They wanted to introduce a new endemic life, and with that, they used a little quiz system where they showed 4 pictures of the Scarlet Forest and these flowers and bushes to look at. They asked us, can you spot a new endemic life in one of these 4 images? To do that with the audience then, what they did is they had the crowd raise their hands to vote, and yes, everyone picked D because there was one thing sticking out. It was this little endemic life, a little creature carefully camouflaged into the tall plants, suddenly revealing itself. It was standing perfectly still because it's propped up on its own tail. Then this creature suddenly would snap out at a little insect going by in a sort of ambush hunting technique style. Then it'll wrap itself back up again in its own ears like camouflage to shroud itself within. It's very cute when you look at it, evidently effective. This little creature then is actually a new endemic life called the Mimifita. The idea is that the Mimifita mimics its environment, like in this case, pretending to be a flower. It does make me wonder if we'll see it in other places, mimicking other terrain, maybe? Ryozo also encouraged us in general to really look around the new locales because there's going to be, apparently, lots of new endemic life that are more subtle and clever, just like Mimifita here, so it's a cool idea. Next up after this, we had a little announcement for a special showcase for Wilds coming out on the 23rd of October. This occurs at 10 PM SGT, which is about 3 PM my time here in England. There's a lot of rumblings that this is going to be a bigger event with maybe new information or reveals, maybe even our next trailer or something like that. Obviously, a big topic we're all wondering about is the demo for Wilds. When is that? Right now, with the release of the game being late February, I speculated that it'll either be late December or maybe early January for a demo for Wilds, based on everything they've done in the past. That is pure speculation, but maybe we'll get to hear about the demo at last on the 23rd. At the moment though, the demos available at Gamescom Asia and likely the same at New York's Comic-Con are just the same little story mission and Doshaguma hunt that I had available and played at Gamescom in Germany back in August. So we don't expect anything super new from footage that comes from that we might see online, but it's still going to be useful, especially for say lesser shown weapons where we could still learn new info about them. On that note, we did get new gameplay here for the Doshaguma hunt with Ryozo himself. That's always good because you never know what might happen during these, so if you want to watch the full hunt, I'd recommend it. But what they did here was a little challenge with the crowd. They picked 3 members from the audience at random to come try beat the hunt and also win some merch if they do. A couple of the contestants were actually in really impressive cosplay. They were dressed as the new handlers for Wilds. So one looked like the hunter's handler, Alma, with actually a little palico on her shoulder, while the other was dressed as Eric, the Astrum unit's handler. So pretty impressive stuff, and it's always crazy to me how fast people can put out such detailed cosplays like this. Jumping into the hunt though, Ryozo got set up pretty fast compared to everyone else, instantly equipping a hammer, but they commented on how there's actually only one hammer in this demo, so he was forced to have a different second weapon as his second, though obviously it's illegal behavior for him to use anything else, so he doesn't use it. In any case, the hunt started off pretty smoothly, with the players beating up Doshaguma pretty quick. Ryozo decided to go aggro Ray Dao though, using a lure pod to bring Ray all the way to the Dosha to make things harder for them. That's again because if the contestants win here, they will win some merch, so I guess he thought it'd be fun to add to the challenge. When he was helping though, Ryozo was showing off his comfort with Wild's version of hammer, doing a great job at quick wound creation, really focusing on the head, using a focus mode attack that brought down the bear, and heavy head combos for KO build-up. I saw him use a lot of the new spinning special attack, Mighty Charge, to build that up and get lots of KO while the monster's still active, rather than just when it's down. I also saw him during a shock trap where the Doshaguma was stunned. He threw a barrel bomb just to show that you can do that now as a new mechanic, though he did miss. But then yes, drew Ray back into the fight again. A cool detail in this moment was how Ray blasted Doshaguma with a lightning shot, which knocked Doshaguma down, but the impact from that lightning seemed to cause a wildfire that spread around the location of Doshaguma, lighting it on fire briefly. I'm not sure if that would have been possible if it wasn't for the period that had just changed to the period of plenty in that moment. So suddenly all this tall grass sprung up as an interesting detail, making it possible for the lightning to spread the fire. That kind of mechanical stuff is just super cool with Wilds. Not long after then, Dosha goes straight down, showing how this group was pretty experienced with no real issues. Multiple monster mounts happened, traps, environment traps were used. It was a clean hunt, so good to watch. Afterwards was pretty sweet though. They all took pictures with Ryozo himself and won the prizes. And then we had a little wrap up for the event with some important reminders. The release still coming with global launch across all platforms on February 28th, alongside some reminders of the different versions, but also another important reminder about the showing they're doing on the 23rd. They let slip during that there's going to be new videos to show. Whatever that actually means, I don't know, but it really does sound like there's something new coming on the 23rd. New information, trailer 5 maybe, and again, hopefully information about the demo. So expect us to be covering that news on the 23rd when it drops. Now, outside of that specific event, there was also a tweet that went out that took a lot of people by surprise, it would seem. It says this: in Monster Hunter Wilds, 16 players are shown at base camps. Announced during the Tokyo Game Show period, this was actually information that came out after an interview with the Italian news outlet Multiplayer. But that information's been known for about 3 weeks now. Still, it surprised a lot of people. Maybe they didn't know about that announcement or read the interview, fair enough. But what does that actually mean? Well, in the interview where this comes from, here's the wording. In Wilds, you can connect to a 16-player online lobby, and all of those players will appear at the base camp at the same time, even though that base camp is directly integrated into the open world. So, as always, you'll be able to visit and meet up with your friends and chat and take part in all the classic social dynamics via that system. That was in regards to the interviewer asking if we'd lose the social dynamics of hanging out in town before a hunt in those bigger parties, with the way that they've got this kind of seamless sticking out in the expeditions and locales system. So the hub aspect is certainly back, it's just working in a new way. Each locale has a new main base camp, and as it turns out, those are going to function like gathering hubs for multiplayer in Worlds or whatever. We imagine then that when you return to base camp, if you're in a lobby with other players, they will also appear in the base camp if they're there at the same time. That'll allow for all the silly fun of showing off each other outfits or mini games or general social stuff, but then not invade on your actual locale that you go into yourself. We are wondering how the party system will work for that though. Like what happens if they leave the camp and you do too, but you're not in a party? We expect you're going to phase out and load into your own separate locales with whatever party you're with or just solo. But to generate parties, it is different in Wilds. We can attack a monster and instantly start a quest. We can pull it up from the map system. We do know that there's still going to be a normal quest board to post and join in on in the actual camp, so how it'll work we'll have to see. Maybe when you start one of these sudden quests while out in the world, it just automatically posts it to the camp board and players can choose to join on you if you leave it open like that. But basically there's still the old system around a new one. We just wonder how the new systems are truly going to work. But no matter how it works, it's going to be nice to have a bigger gathering hub feature again, and it's going to be very cool to have basically a different hub of sorts in each and every locale, rather than just one in the village. But yeah, that was Gamescom Asia as the show today. But now let's look at the New York Comic-Con panel that happened the same day, just quite a few hours later in a totally different place. So in regards to this New York Comic-Con panel that we've had, is some bad news. Basically, they posted about the event on social media, telling people to go there, they don't want to miss it, it's here and, you know, everyone's welcome. They announced that the room is absolutely full, showing a little pan to show, hey, here's the crowd, everyone here, yeah, it's packed. But, to my surprise, there's been no live stream of the event. Not on their official YouTube socials or Twitch or wherever you would find that kind of stream. After scrolling through Twitter, hashtags, all the type of people that would be at that event, and checking every new post in the Reddit for like the last hour, yeah, there's absolutely nothing that's come from it. That's not to say that there isn't information that we would like to talk about that could have been revealed at this kind of thing. They actually have a history of announcing new details at this kind of event. Like for example, back with World, at the same style of event, they actually announced acidic glavenus at the time. So we're not expecting like, ooh, big new reveal, here's a new locale or something. But maybe like a monster that's come back, like a returning monster announcement. Even if it was just like a PNG image of it or whatever. As well as discussion about the game and any new information, and maybe again wondering about the demo stuff. So we are expecting information from this panel. We just don't know when that information will be out there. But when we do, we'll be there to talk about it. But I'm sorry, I've not been able to give you anything from it right now. But yeah, that's our just quick overview of everything that came out today. Still, what we do know is on October 23rd, something is coming, so we'll certainly be back to cover that as soon as it happens. For now then, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thank you for watching, see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.